Hi, hello. Welcome to my first ever officially made for YouTube video. This is a speed art of a little gift that I made for my best friend Sleepy, which all of you should follow on Twitch and everywhere else under the username Sleepy SLEPY_Prince with two E's, PRINCEE. And in case you don't know who I am, which you probably most likely don't, hi, I'm Starlight Morningstar. I am a adult indie creator, dev, V streamer, witch, and a lot more. I'm a Mexican, trans queer disabled individual, and persona-wise, I am Lucifer reborn into a loser human, and deity of creation, love and light, and liberation. And I hope you enjoy my video. It was the so I had streamed the first part of it, so it was like the making of the actual little drawing. But in this video, it's everything that's involved with putting the mixed media process together and the final product. What else I gotta say? I'm a little nervous. So I am I am post-divorce move. I just went through a divorce, or legally going through a divorce, but emotionally it's been a whole year of processing it and grieving, and then grief again hitting once I finally got out of that toxic situation. But so I'm here. I'm back with living with my blood family, which was kind of scary at first. I've talked about it a lot on my streams. But it's been better than expected, you know? It's safer than expected. And that's something nice, you know? Sorry, I'm tripping myself out because I'm listening to myself talk to make sure that the volume and quality sounds okay. But yeah, it's weird hearing myself so up close and personal. I had to tweak with my mic settings again because I changed it for that specific live stream to try to figure out a setup for that, because it was my first official hand stream, and my first time doing traditional art on stream, and first time doing traditional art in a long time. But I have a lot of cool traditional art because I started off as a traditional artist and then got into digital. You'll learn more about me over time here. But if you're coming from my stream, you probably know some of this. I am a small streamer, but you know, I have a lovely community of my stars. And if you decide to like and follow, you are becoming one of my stars in my temple of love and light. And here it is a adult-only safe space for marginalized groups first. But y'all are welcome as long as you're kind. It is also an anti-Christianity safe space for anybody with religious trauma such as I. And I hope you respect that while here, because there's not a lot of safe spaces for us, with all of the above listed. But there will be no hate tolerated in any of my safe space communities. And if you like what you've heard so far and you want to join a adult only safe space and it's age verified, I have a main server that you can find in my link tree, which is it linked on YouTube? I don't know currently, but it is link, so I'll spell it out for you. LINK.ee/STARBEACON, linktree/starbeacon. And you can find all my socials that I am mostly active on. I'm mostly active these days on mainly Discord and Twitch, and hopefully here soon. I used to be more active on TikTok, but after the recent events, I'm kind of dropping that, and I've left Instagram. I'm very politically strong with, you know, equal rights and rights for all my marginalized people like me. And if you're not about politics, then this probably isn't your space, which is okay. Not everywhere is going to be for you. And that's just how it is sometimes, because I'm making a space that isn't available for people like me and people who are my stars. Anyways, sorry for the shit mic quality. I don't have the best quality equipment. Maybe one day. I'm working with a gaming laptop and a cheap mic for my streaming and game making and everything I do. What we're going to do. I'm kind of restarting as a creator. But yeah. Anyways, that's enough of me yapping. You're probably just here for the art, not this boy failure fucking loser god talking. But it's a pleasure to meet you. And if you decide to stay, then welcome home. I hope this can be a home away from home for you, or a home you've never had to begin with. Oh, and just in case nobody's told you recently or at all, I love you. And I am so proud of you. And I think you're doing amazing. And if the most that you could have done today is shift in bed, then that is more than enough. And I am proud of you. I love you, my star. And enjoy the video. Thank you. So, here we are starting off with what I had finished off on my stream. So far you see that I just had kind of the line art, and yeah, barely the basic line art, and I hadn't even cut out the drawing or anything yet. I only temporarily bought some art supplies, as I mentioned before. I went through a divorce move, so a lot of my art supplies that I do have, like I have a lot more, especially for digital art, I have to wait until my ex-wife sends over. So for now, it's a grayscale drawing. But I do have a whole little set of Copics that I have gathered over time. So when those come, expect a lot more colorful art, hopefully. I also thought about digitally rendering this drawing actually, and coloring it like in post with digital, because I've done like that kind of mixed media too. I've experimented a lot with digital and traditional art over the years, but I hope this year forward I kind of want to renew myself as a creator and try a lot more things. I may not be really great at any skill, but I am a jack of all trades. I will give myself that. Trying to have a little bit more confidence in myself and my skills this year. Oh my god. I say that and I can't speak. This is my first time doing a YouTube video, so I am very inexperienced, so I apologize if anything is not good quality. I also work with, you know, what I have. Maybe one day we'll get better. Now, Sleepy is a dear best friend of mine. He is an Australian clown, VTuber, and artist and creator, and so talented. He taught himself how to rig live 2D models in like within a fucking week. I can't believe that. He's so amazing to me, and he inspires me so much. I think he's truly amazing, and he's my best friend. And as somebody with a lot of PTSD and CPTSD and BPD and the list goes on, I don't feel like that true level of safe space with a lot of people. Like, I love my community and I love my friends. I really do. And I do feel safe with a lot of them, but there's like a certain level of like intimate safeness that I can only feel with truly some people, you know? And that goes for a lot of people. Not everybody can feel that kind of level with everybody, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that anyone else is any less to me. I love all my friends and I love all my people so much. And I am so beyond grateful. And I've cried so many times on stream how grateful I am for my community and my friends and my chosen family and my best friends. But yeah, this is Sleepy, and we're actually cooking a group YouTube in the works. So it'll be me and my two best friends who are dating. They're both Australian-based creators. This is Zane, aka Sleepy, and Riley. And you should also go check out Riley. He's great. He's Riley the Zomboy. You can find him through Sleepy Stuff too. And you'll see a lot of them in our next channel when that comes out. And maybe on my channel too sometimes. Who knows? It's a lot of exciting possibilities when you start life over, and luckily I'm in a situation where all my needs are taken care of, and my family, my blood family, is really trying to reconnect with me and take care of me, you know? So I'm glad I'm not in a survival space anymore where I have to just, you know, barely have any money and all that. It's nice. It's been healing after I've lived a long life of just a lot of non-stop abusive relationships, and it's been rough. But I'm also proud of myself, and I look forward for this year forward. It took me a lot for that too. It wasn't easy. If you're in a similar situation and you're like, oh, I know, I don't feel like that yet. Trust me, it took me like years, over a year, especially for the divorce grief, and I'm still grieving. And I'm still processing, and it hasn't been easy. I've cried a lot, and I try to be open and vulnerable with that kind of stuff when I stream and or as a creator or on my servers. Still figuring stuff out too, you know. I may be turning 27 this year, but I don't know. Half of me feels like my young 20s again because of skill regression, and I was kind of dissociated for a lot of my 20s really bad in a PTSD survival mode that I didn't even realize, and I finally got out of last year. So I feel like I blipped a little bit, you know? So life's been kind of weird. It's been a weird, because half of me feels like young 20s and half of me feels like older 40s. I feel like I've matured spiritually so much and in so many ways, but at the same time I feel like I'm getting a second chance at starting life again, you know? And it takes a lot to have hope when you go through some of your darkest times. But you can only find the brightest light amongst the darkest of nights, you know? And as somebody who is trying to be the universe's brightest starlight, it's inspiring for me too, you know? Anyways, here I am cutting the paper. How do you comment on these things? I know I should probably clean this up and make this a little bit more professional, but do I do that with any of my stuff? No. You know, I am just a human person at the end of the day. I mean, that's why I made my persona. If you don't know, my persona is split into two, where there's human self and there's God self. Well, fusions too, but that's another story for later. But I have God self, which kind of represents my more extroverted, more healed, more put together self, and more cool self. Like, he looks like everything I want to look like. He's everything that I feel like fully healed me, fully healthy me could be. And not healthy in like an impossible, achievable way. Well, maybe the looks wise, because I look like the human self, which I still gotta redesign for my re-debut. But human me is more of like the introverted side, you know? The more kind of mass autistic, very focused on their work, very boundaries, you know? It's to represent my two sides, you know? Because I feel like I've tried so hard to be one or the other, more so, but people are multifaceted beings, and I think there's too much stigma and pressure to kind of fit ourselves into a mold of just one self, you know? Maybe that's the personality disorder in me talking, but I think it's important to let yourself breathe and let yourself be who you are, as long as it's not hurting anyone innocent, you know? And that's all I ask, is just be you and don't hurt any people who are innocent. And you're welcome here. And I welcome you home. So for this drawing, I went for more of a mixed media traditional 3D effect. So you see that I'm planning it out here. I am not the best at planning, so I kind of just wing it as I go. All of this was really winging it, and I haven't done any of this in like over a year, so pardon me just trying to like basically messing around and experimenting. But that's the fun thing about art. Art is supposed to be fun. And as the deity of creation, I attract a lot of artists in my community. And so many times I see like, oh, you know, I can't draw or I don't draw good enough. And it's like, I don't care about that. You're creating, and that in itself is a wonderful gift, and I am so proud of you. Just create, as long as it's not hurting anybody. That's what matters in my community. If you know, if you're an artist and you just love to create, the art community has gotten so toxic and so gatekeepy. So, I could rant all day about fashion communities too. Don't even get me started on the colonization and gatekeeping of so many fashion communities such as Gyaru. And if you don't know, I'm a Gyaru boy, or Gyaruo. And I see so many things like, oh, you can't be tropical Gyaru, you can't be this or that. And there's so much fighting in the fashion communities, and it's like, well, first of all, do you know actual Gyarus don't give a fuck? You know, it's literally a fashion and a culture based in rebellion against beauty standards. And don't you think by categorizing it, that is going with beauty standards? Because beauty standards are the dumb shit right now that's doing clean girl aesthetic, and which, by the way, clean girl aesthetic is so racist feeling. I don't know if that's just me, but I don't agree with it. Anyways, this is not a video for me to rant. You can check out my streams if you want to hear me rant and not be taken away by the YouTube police. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's saddening how much the anime, manga, fashion, art communities, all these communities that were supposed to be ways to just find people who like things that aren't the, I guess, what do you say, the majority, the mainstream, the whatever you want to call it. It's sad. And then like even with alt genres or alt cultures where they're like, oh, you can only be in this if you like the music primarily, and it's like, not really anymore. Maybe at one point, but the only reason why some cultures were music-based cultures was because there wasn't any internet. That was one of the only ways to meet other people who liked those kind of things, who liked that fashion, who liked that mindset, you know, that lifestyle, that fashion, that culture, that music. And music is a part of the culture, but it's not the only thing anymore. And I think it's very limiting and very harsh to gatekeep anyone joining a community just because they don't primarily listen to that music, you know? It was once a platform for people to meet because there was no other way, at least not easily. But concerts were there, you know? Music gatherings were there. But now the internet has been a thing for a while, and I'm 27, or not 27 yet. I'm already in the mindset I'm 27. I'm turning 27 in May. I'm a Taurus. If it wasn't obvious. But I think that as somebody who's gonna be 27, I am the oldest part of Gen Z, and I was a kid. Like, I grew up with the birth of internet culture. Like, internet fandoms became a thing when I was young. And it just sucks that, like, yes, there's always been problems, and honestly, some things have gotten better, like not allowing so much awful stuff. I still think there's way too much allowance of lolicon and shotacon bullshit and pro shipping. This is also an anti-pro shipping zone. Hey, I could be inclusive, but also be like, hey, we still have standards here. Don't be a little freak. Don't be weird. I mean, you can be weird in like a silly way. Don't be weird in a that's a legal way. Or it should be illegal. But yeah, it just sucks because at one point there really was like unity in these communities, and I, in my bias, will blame a lot of the majority, like the white cis hets and said people that really fucked up a lot of these communities with pro-shipping and racism and transphobia and homophobia, especially the straight cis side, dude. It's like, how are you telling me that you're gonna be like, this is my waifu, and it's like a 16-year-old, and then turn around and be like, and just say like the most like homophobic slur about a gay, like people just peacefully trying to gay ship. And it's like, sure, there are some problematic things in the gay shipping side. There are people that are just purely sexualizing and fetishizing gay people, which we do not support here. But we are like, I love shipping. I'm a shipper, you know? And, you know, fuck me for being a queer person that wants to see more queer representation in anime and manga and games. And even if you're not queer and you enjoy it, that's great. You know? We can be gay in like a straight ship, you know? It's just like, it's just saddening, you know? And part of my dream, which my dream is to one day become the biggest indie creator or creator and liberate their creation, because I think media is a power that is not used enough in the good way. It's used more in the bad way for propaganda. And I think media is power, and it has the power to educate, reform, teach, or I already said that, entertain, and bring together and unite. And I'd like to be that person that's at the forefront, or one of the forefronts, and use that power for good, because I think a lot of people, it's been upsetting, you know, as somebody who did grow up with the internet, it influenced me a lot in both, like, from the good of it and the bad of it. So, like, of course, I grew up with YouTubers like PewDiePie and Cry, who ended up being the, you know, very problematic people. I don't know about PewDiePie now, I don't know, that's not for me to excuse or comment on, but definitely Cry and some others that are just constantly outed for being awful people. And it was disappointing one after another, because not only was I relying on them for what I needed as a safe space for my life to keep going, but I loved traversing comments and seeing so much of like people who were just hurt because they were like, this is my safe space. It's one of the few safe spaces I have. And then before like these people get outed, I just see comments of how many people are like, you know, you're my comfort streamer, or YouTuber. Sorry, now I'm so used to streams. And, you know, and people like pouring their hearts out to these people they trust, because we didn't know any better. We thought we could trust everybody online, you know, before we saw the true darkness that can reside in some people and some things. And I've seen a lot of it. I have pure OCD, which if you're pure OCD, you know how difficult it can be. So that's like the mental illness of intrusive thoughts. And when you're an adolescent, especially like basically coked up, I'm not gonna say coked up, but basically like hopped up on misdiagnosis and way too many meds that basically drugged me, that's a story for another time, and malpractice from doctors for years, you don't have the best control over those intrusive thoughts. So I did a lot of things, and I traversed a lot of the internet that that scarred me to this day, and I'm gonna be 27. The internet can be a very scary place, and that's why, like, part of my responsibility as being an adult-only creator is also protecting the youth through that way of, like, I'm solid on it. Like, no, I don't want any minors interacting with any of my stuff. And I know I can't control all of it. I was young, you know, I was a teenager too when I was getting into games like Dramatical Murder and shit. But, you know, at least actively I'm gonna be doing what I can and of taking the responsibility of being like, hey, I don't take responsibility for your child. And I am a clearly like, I'll say adult streamer, and a lot of people think that means I only just do NSFW content, which sometimes I do. There's nothing wrong with that, I'm an adult. I think we need to stigmatize it if you're okay with it. Obviously there's consent and boundaries and so forth. And not like real life adult content. Well, I do have NSFW audio in my link. Well, only one, but you know, you're interested in that. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I have ADHD too. I'm very mentally ill and mentally disabled, as you can tell. But I've done a lot of work on it, so I try my best. I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Oh shit. I hope you've been enjoying this drawing, by the way. I've been just really yapping. This is what you get on my streams too, so it's really no different. But I'm just not reading chat and getting distracted even more. Oh yeah, and it's my responsibility by being like, no, you're not allowed here, because I'm protecting them from, you know. And then, like, of course, sometimes I think like, oh, it would be nice to make some stuff for younger people, but they can easily, through my name, because I know how the internet is, growing up with it, they could just find I could be a bridge to, like, finding my other stuff that isn't for them, and I prefer not to do that. Unless I go under an alias one day, who knows, I don't know. For now, I'm content with what I do, and I like making adult content. Especially, like, I like making stories in games, or I'm going to make stories in games. I've made so many, like, behind the scenes in my head, but not like officially published a lot of stuff. But I want to push more adult leads and, you know, queer romance or people of color leads or both, or disability representation, like marginalized roles. That is my focus. You'll rarely see me do like a white cis het person ever, unless it's for the story, which, you know, I don't know why. Because I think we deserve more representation and cool and fun stories and educating stories and genres that we don't really get represented in, you know? Anyways, I didn't even realize how fast the video already was gone. But, did you, I forgot to comment earlier. Did you see me struggle on that goddamn star? That was like ages ago. That was like, I think like 5 minutes ago. I can't remember. I got so distracted. I'm supposed to be talking about the video, not me. Oh my gosh. See, I'm more streamer headset, but I want to get into making YouTube videos because I don't always have the social energy to do streaming, which is okay. I have energy to be the entertainer, which the god self of my persona is more the entertainer, but the human self is more of the indie creator, even though I'm the god of creation. You know, well, I have a lore story I'm eventually going to draw out, a little manga. I have a lot of stuff planned. But finally now I have the time to restart as a creator and finally like restart a lot of my projects and get back on them. I feel like I neglected myself as a creator and I neglected a lot of my projects, you know? Anyways, I'm doodling Riley, who is my other best friend who I mentioned. He is a zombie, virus, cybercore, VTuber or V-streamer and content creator. He's great. He's also Australian. And he is Sleepy's boyfriend. Or, I mean, their fiancé. They're lovely. They're great people, and they've truly taught me a lot of healing. They've healed a lot of my past abusive friend wounds that I've got, like, because I've been through a lot of just like I said, a lot of abusive relationships, not just like romantic, but friendships mostly. And they've healed a lot for me, and they're like my closest chosen family. And besides some of my really old term like IRL friends, even if I don't talk to them a lot anymore, they're still like in there for being some of the most important people to me, even if we don't get to talk a lot these days, which happens, you know, life happens, and that's okay. I'm just glad they're okay, and I make sure and I try to check on them every now and then, or they'll check on me, and that's how it is sometimes. Anyways, I'm drawing him being gay and being a little fanboy at his man. Oh yeah, my mom came in and I showed her. I got a little excited. It's been healing for my inner child being here a little bit. Some stuff is better than I thought, because I was kind of disconnected with them, because I cut them off when I ran off with or kind of figuratively ran off. They kind of helped me and my ex-wife at the time get married, and she joined the military. I've talked about it before. I don't want to bring too much of that into my YouTube. This is going to be my fresh start, so if you want to see that stuff, you can watch my past VODs, or I don't know. Maybe you will be able to learn a lot about it in my upcoming game I'm working on called Limerence, which was originally going to be for the Yandere Game Jam on Itch.io, but this month hit me harder than I thought, with grieving and healing and processing and being so tired, because I have been in a survival body state for at least 10 years, you know? And finally, like, oh my god, I can relax. I can rest. It's not dangerous here. And that was really scary too for a while. It's been a crazy month. But I look forward to what this new year contains, and I hope you will join me, and that together we can help liberate the world through creation, love, and light, and have some fun while doing it. Anyways, here's the final product. I hope you like it. Sorry, I just ended up yapping this whole time. Here you can see my pure OCD a little bit. I get really meticulous with arranging it. I sped up this whole thing though, because the whole thing was like almost 4 hours. Which, if you want that version too, where it's just the music and it's just a long-term, I guess, you know, you could see the full just in-time recording or whatever, I can post that as well. Or I can post a version with no voiceover. this is all trial and error, you know? We're figuring it out. But thank you for, even in the little Gyaru pose, thank you for joining me on my first YouTube video, or official YouTube video. I've posted some of my art on here and stuff like that. But my first, like, you're hearing my voice and it's a proper video, as proper as I can right now as I learn things. And I hope you join me this year forward on my new chapter of life as a creator and as a person. And I want to thank you so much for joining me. And like I said earlier, but I'll say again, in case you haven't heard it at all or recently, I love you, my star. I love you. And if you decide to join here, welcome home. I'm so proud of you. And I'll see you next time, okay? Sweet dreams.